What is up on another Saturday night?
Hell to the yes.
Hell yeah. So, before we start this show, just want to thank all the demons out there, all the Three Witches fans for tuning in for one hell of a fucking interview with David Howard Thornton.
We lost the beast.
We lost the beast. He will be back. At least it was not me. It's not me doing the faux pas this time.
Hey, Kyler, what's up tonight, brother?
What's happening, brother? But 655 views between the pages and the YouTube channels. Appreciate y'all so much for making that happen. And we got some other really big people coming up later this month.
Yeah, we do.
Especially on the 28th, which we will announce this week.
Ooh, yeah.
Hopefully, get your fucking snacks ready. Get your secret devil juice and whatever else, devil's lettuce, whatever you need. Get ready, strap in, and let's hit you with another awesome show. First, we're going to take a quick commercial break to... Who do we want?
What do you want?
Do we have the tattoo one?
Yep.
All right. From Villain Arts Tattoos. Check it out. Hell yeah. This past summer at the Villain Arts Tattoo conventions were pretty fucking badass. Did the first few myself for the first time. Got this badass guy right there to go along with it. And as a matter of fact, myself and Mischief will be there next month here in Omaha. So you might want to make sure that you get your calendars together and make sure to get to that particular convention so you can meet us in the flesh. All right.
I heard that if they get there early enough, they can see Reaper get his left nipple tattooed.
Hey, you never know. You just never know with me. Or who I scare next. That last one, I scared the poor bejesus out of that tiny little tattoo artist coming out of the restroom. And I'm just, 6'2", full of 11, walking behind him, nice and quiet, and suddenly he turns around. Oh fuck! His girlfriend was laughing, who was much taller than him, by the way, was laughing so fucking hard at him. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, so good times. What do we have for the people tonight?
Oh my goodness, the 5 best live metal performances that you must go see if they're still playing.
Yeah. Emphasis on the if they are still around.
And not washed up.
Aha. Well, my lovely other half there, Mischief, says, when I hit 2K, I will do that. Well, you never fucking know. If I have enough of Canadian's finest, I bet you it'll happen. I don't know. It's funny. I don't like piercing my flesh, so to speak. Accidental knife cuts and stuff like that don't bother me, but if I'm doing it intentionally, that's different. Especially the nipply.
I used to have my pierced, but the damn things would get caught. Like when I was
that's what I've heard.
Oh,
And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to go through all that. And then, of course, you know, you get a nice picture somewhere with your family. You got a shirt on, right? And it's a little too cold in the room, and pa-ting, just sticking right the fuck out for everybody to see. Family photos. You know what I mean? I heard tattooing the nipples is a fucking major ouchie.
Oh yeah, I've had it. But you know, I'm a tattoo artist, so
Right.
I'm happy to oblige you. Mischief has suggested like a daisy or something like that on your. So
That's not going to happen.
You will get it. You will
No
get.
daisies!
You will get it
No!
for free.
Skulls, maybe. That might be kind of Hashtag Daisy Nipple. Everybody, use it now.
I smell a t-shirt. Oh wait, I don't know if we could put that on a t-shirt.
No, we ain't putting that on a goddamn t-shirt.
Here we
I
go.
will not oblige this. For both my personalities.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just dandy like a daisy. I
Nice
don't know
fucking
about
plan, Daisy.
Well,
I don't know.
Anyway,
my fault that I've sidetracked us.
that's okay.
Kyler, every motherfucker in the world gets stars on their nips. I'm not about to jump on that hoe train. Ain't gonna happen. I got to be different. Yeah, maybe I'll just tattoo a butt. My wife says, I'm not a hooker.
Oh my goodness.
Love it. So if we haven't already made you spit out whatever you were chewing on or drinking at this particular moment, let us begin. Let us see it
Yep.
begin.
Oh, we're in the
All right,
wrong order, aren't we? I usually go first.
Yeah. Is there a way of like flipping it or what? Screen block.
There we go.
There we are.
That's
Now
it.
everything is right with the world.
It is.
Killer.
All right. So, best shows you've been to. My number 5, I'm going. It was Impact Festival, July of 2019.
This was called Impact, you said?
Yep, Impact Festival.
Okay.
And the whole idea of the festival was raising money for like suicide awareness and prevention and stuff. But
Nice.
That
explains Impact.
yeah. There's a ton of good bands there, including
Sea
what's
of Monkeys?
their band name?
Sea of
One
Monkeys.
whose name I don't remember.
The devil.
Back to you.
I'm having
It's coming
horrible
back to
brain
you.
farts tonight. Oh my fucking god.
Come on. No. Damn it.
My
hoodoo
cousin's
is not
watching,
working.
I'm so sorry for forgetting this. Anyway, a couple of headliners were Evanescence and Godsmack. And it was fucking amazing. It was pouring rain and lightning, and almost everyone had left except, little Genghis, who was fulfilling his teenage, fantasies of finally seeing Godsmack and Evanescence.
Ba-dum-bum.
So you're serious? You're saying Evanescence and Godsmack are one of your 5 best ever?
Yes. I put them at number 5. Does that make it any better?
Oh, yeah. Since you've only seen 5, okay, that's fine.
Hey.
Dun, da, da, da.
Yeah, tell me about it, Mischief. Tell me about it.
Definitely, I was at that show.
My goodness. Other bands that were there were
Better. No.
No, those two are the best.
Da, 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 da. No, I'm kidding. I'm just
Hey,
fucking
oh,
with you.
actually, I forgot. I have every band that was there that day. I stole the poster.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Kill Switch, Buck Cherry, Beartooth, Fever 333, All That Remains. Those are good bands there.
Ah, how could you not mention Killswitch Engage? God damn it. They're probably the heaviest act on the bill.
I
Right.
mean,
That would have been my best for that night.
they're okay. They're not like one of my all-time favorite bands. Anyway,
Just fucking with you.
I know.
I'm waiting.
No,
for
that's a hell of a tour, man.
Mischief needs to jump in. I want to know what her opinion is of Evan.
Pretty sure she likes
I have
Evan.
been summoned to the comments section.
My loves. She says, "Un momento." Ah, shit. I have such a wellspring. Ah!
Uh-oh.
Ah! Ah! Oh, there. Ah! I did it again. I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Ah!
Poor Genghis.
I don't know.
Genghis, you are really like, I respect you so much for bringing up that band. And you knew that I was not going to let
I
that.
knew you would.
Yes. I'm so glad you put that little clip together. It
Oh,
was-
Mischief.
Oh no.
Oh, you're dissing on Amy Lee. Mischief.
My love, I
Oh.
have to agree with you.
Oh,
Tell her
She's
I
a voice of
approve.
an unholy angel. But still decent show. I mean, there's quite a bit of one of those mixed bag tours.
yeah, for sure.
I've been to a couple of mixed bag tours. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're bad. It just depends.
Yeah, for sure.
Shit. Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to put this one at number 5 for me. Not because it wasn't like, you know, a super fucking rad show, but just doesn't have number 1 status for me. So don't kill me. Speaking of a mixed bag show, the one that I am recalling is back before I opened my goth club up back in the year 2000. I had the chance to go see Rammstein at an outdoor parking lot venue in
Nice.
Cleveland. It's not there anymore because now they've turned it into like an actual like club. It's still outside, but it's on a grander scale. This was back when it was just parking lot. Here's the stage. Shove your face up as far as you can to get to the front. I mean, there wasn't even barricades at this motherfucker. And I was with my buddy who was actually my partner at the time too in the business. And it was Motorhead opening for Rammstein.
Nice.
Talk about one of those shows you just never thought the two of them would be on the same bill. I don't know how it happened, but it was awesome. It was still Sehnsucht era, so you know all the hoopla was still about Du Hast, and yeah, of course there were much better fucking songs on that record, but still, I was literally at the front. Motorhead, and if anyone has ever had the pleasure, I mean, it is an absolute pleasure of seeing Motorhead, you know, in their heyday. Lemmy, we miss you. They are the loudest band that has ever existed.
For sure.
Because I guarantee you could have said something to the person next to you screaming in their ear and still wouldn't hear you. You know, Lemmy comes out and does his thing, just, you know, tips his fucking hat to everybody, strikes a big fucking bass chord, and suddenly the whole ground, the earth, I swear, moved when he hit that first chord and goes, not loud enough. And turned it up even more. And I was just like, oh shit, we're on a fucking roller coaster. And then, of course, you know, with Rammstein coming out after that, playing all the hits from the first record and then obviously all the big hits from Zensuk, and wasn't censored. Police weren't called. Till didn't get hauled off for the umpteenth time. It was fantastical. And the fact that while Till was singing and I was singing along with him and looked back at me like, how do you know the words? Seriously, that's exactly the look I got from him. And then he goes and kept going. I was like, he noticed me. Give me your shirt. Something. Throw me a shirt. It was awesome. It was a good moment.
I totally agree. 100%. Motorhead is the loudest band. Nobody has ever even come close that I've seen, and I've seen thousands of shows. Napalm Death was probably my second loudest, but Motorhead.
That had to be fucking
I could not. I
too.
knew about this. If I wore earplugs, I would not take them out. I did a couple times, but man, I couldn't believe how loud it was.
Well, it was so funny because the crowd was a mix of bikers and goth people. So if you can imagine those two crowds together, and as soon as Ace of Spades kicks in, suddenly bikers are throwing each other through the air. Bodies are landing everywhere. People are like fucking taking their beers and smashing them against each other. And oh man, it was just a full out fucking party. I loved it. Somebody accidentally kicked my glasses off, and I got to snatch them down by their foot, drug them to the ground, and then force them to pick it up for me. It was a great night.
Was it Ohio?
Oh, yeah. Cleveland, Ohio. Killer show.
Whew. All right. My number 5. Oh, who am I going to throw at number 5? Because I'm going from like the most amazing is my number 1. So
yeah, me too.
They're all flipping.
Same here.
Okay, I have to say it was The Accused, and it was in October of 1987. And so I've never seen The Accused. I had never even heard one song of The Accused.
Oh shit! So
And
you didn't have any like expectations?
No, none at all. And that's really part, like just about every brand that I'm in a list here, except for one that's super big. I never had heard them before, had no idea who this was, and they just blew me away. So if you haven't heard of The Accused before, they were opening up for GBH. So they were stuck in the crossover kind of time to where, are they metal or are they kind of hardcore? So they had kind of hardcore punk elements, but to me, they were definitely a little bit more metal. They're out of Seattle. And so Blaine is about 5'4" or 5'5", long curly red hair. He wore kind of Hawaiian board shorts, and he was doing kind of black metal vocals. I'm sure he got this idea maybe from Bathory, because Bathory, I think, was doing it right around 87. Maybe their album in 85 was even kind of pushing more of the black metal vocals. But so you get like black metal vocals, and he just screamed like a banshee. And his energy, I don't know what he was on, but absolutely. The guitarist had blonde dreadlocks that were probably about 10 or 12 inches long, and they were blonde, and he just rocked it. Like, that was a great show. I was so bruised and beaten up after that show. Had a good time crowd surfing, and it's amazing. If you haven't heard The Accused, ACCUSED, The Accused. So they're kind of in the same vein as DRI and Corrosion of Conformity back at that time. Cryptic Slaughter, Wehrmacht, all these bands. So, man, absolutely stunning show. Like, I left there, I had to go buy the album. I remember I had to go outside, I think, to get money out of my car or something. And when I came back in, they have this one song. It's probably their most popular song. It's called "The Devil Woman." And it is a song that everybody can get in. Everybody was jumping. Everybody else knew this band, but I'd never heard of them before, apparently. But great show.
Awesome. Before we get to our number 2 here, let's take a look at Kyler's list. Pretty awesome. Slipknot, Korn, Rob Zombie, In This Moment, and I'm so fucking jealous at this, Behemoth. They are definitely bucket list for me, so
Yeah, good list.
I think I just missed them too.
Oh.
Yeah, Korn was really good. I've seen them at the show. And Slipknot.
I've seen them twice.
Slipknot
Once
is,
when they were a nobody, and then the second time was Family Values. Yeah, Family Values tour.
oh, that's good.
All right, my next one. I am also going with Rammstein. I saw them back on their Made in Germany Northern U.S. tour in 2014.
Sounds about right. And you suck.
That was like my first.
That was a good
concert.
album.
It is a good album. That was my first big concert I ever went to. Me and my dad went.
Mm.
And we had like the cheapest, shittiest seats, which are still 73, 74, 75 bucks a pop, way up in the stands. And we could still fucking feel like crazy whooshes of heat from the fire and shit. And it was like, whoa. Such
Hell
a good
yeah.
fucking show.
Absolutely.
And the opener on that one was some sort of weird Rammstein remix done by Joe Letts from Comic Christ that lasted for like half an hour.
That's interesting.
It was literally a half-hour long Rammstein remix done by the Comic Christ guy. Strange choice for an opener, I thought. When I heard it was gonna be, one of the guys from Comic Christ, I'm like, oh, cool. So he's gonna be doing, I don't know, some Comic Christ
Something
shit
original?
or something, or no, it's literally just a half-hour long Rammstein remix. It was good. I enjoyed it, but like, it was, what the hell's the point of that? I'm about to see Rammstein.
That's kind of my feelings on the matter as well. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you, Devil Kitties, who just almost damn near took out my mother. Get over here, bitch. All right. Anyway,
I remember, the lights went down, and then the like band walked through the crowd with a torch and shit, and it was just bad fucking ass.
neat. Wow. Definitely the stage show. She got to see it firsthand. It's a bitches. Anyhow, for me, God, this is it's just so fucking hard. So I decided to throw one in that I actually played myself. It would have had to have been when I was playing in the death metal band Twisted Asylum, and we opened up for Doyle. And Doyle is the original Misfits guitarist. And it was just the energy. It's right. I guess they were mad that they weren't on camera. I'm sure they'll show up behind me eventually, because they always like to creep up on me. But just like I was saying, the overall energy of the place, it was a smaller venue in Kent, Ohio. The Outpost is the name of the joint. And it's really set up like a real concert venue. It actually has two stages, one off to the left and then the main one. Well, of course, we were all on the main stage, so there wasn't anything going on. The opener was on the left, and then it was us. So just an amazing performance. Doyle is just, man, you never realize just how tall and huge this man is. He is the epitome of fitness and the only vegan I know that can be as big as he is. It's just mind-boggling to me. Nice guy, doesn't really like to talk. I always call the lead singer Wolfman Jack because that's what he reminds me of, just without the beard. Or other version of Danzig is the other thing I like to call him, because he's got the long hair and then he's got the fucking sideburns. But he's his own dude. Dr. Chud was playing drums that night, which definitely one of my I wouldn't say drum hero, but definitely an influence. Like I really liked what he did on the next wave of the Misfits once, Glenn was out and they got the band back together with Chris Graves. I know a lot of people don't really like him, but anywhoozle, he was playing on, I think it was called Famous Monsters, and he was the drummer on that. Double bass, had good technique, real solid, and he just bashes, man. Just powerful. Everybody that was there were multi-generation. That's what I really loved about this show. There were kids there with their parents who were big fans of the Misfits. It's like, you're not seeing this in a huge fucking venue. You're seeing it in a little tiny, like, not really hole in the wall, but it was, definitely not the best place in the world to see a show. But it's a place that you could see some pretty big names. As a matter of fact, oh, damn it. Deathcore band had played there before, Whitechapel.
That's what I was
So it was a place that you could go and see fucking Whitechapel because they've actually played there. So, and it was just great because I got to share the stage with them, and just being able to say that, what just made it all kind of surreal for me, So great fucking show. If you get a chance to see Doyle and his band, especially Abominator, all those albums, fucking go. Great fucking band.
Oh.
Interesting. We could do that for honorable mention.
Yeah,
we'll do that honorable mention. Yeah.
Great idea.
All right, Hoofbeast, what you got, brother?
Well, I'm a little jealous. I've never seen Doyle. I wanted to see the Misfits, especially around Earth AD. That's the album I like so much.
And the craziest thing is he doesn't look anything like he did in those old photos. I see him all the time. And I'm like, the dude I saw could eat like 3 of me. He went from this little to the just unbelievable. I mean, and like I said, approachable guy. Didn't say very much, but it was like, hey man, I've loved you since the Misfits, and the new band is fucking rocking, and thanks for letting us play and all that. He's like, oh, thank you. I'm like, I know he doesn't like to do interviews, so I'm going this way.
I often think about these guys and just how often they have people, every city they go to, man, I'm your biggest fan. I love you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's got to get old, and you just got to be polite. I know.
Exactly. And, for him, he's just a guy that doesn't like to talk very much, period. Unless you like ask him something like legit. There was a time where this was like caught on video somewhere on YouTube, where this chick said, I'm starting to be a vegan just like you. So what do I do? He said, bitch, get the fuck out of here, please. It's like, you just do it. Look it up. Don't ask him that, because they're like, oh, your physique. Oh, it's like, bitch, I ain't giving you none. I'm married to the chick that sings for Arch Enemy. He doesn't want to answer that. He's like, good for you. Figure it out. Bye.
Wow. Good story.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
All right. My number 2 is Bolt Thrower, and I saw them in December of 1991 on the War Master tour. And I kick myself for giving that. I had the long sleeve shirt that had the Bolt Thrower logo all down the sleeve. War Master.
I remember those.
And the band Believer opened up for them, which is of one of Reaper's favorite because of the Christian influence.
No! I was the one guy in the 80s that said, fuck Striper.
Yeah.
Still say it to this day, too.
Yeah. So this was, Carl was just amazing the whole show. His vocal delivery, and that's one of the vocal deliveries, like kind of the cadence that he uses at times I think about that when I'm doing vocals quite a bit. But this show was just stunning, like just metal the whole fucking way. The grooves that they have were amazing. I saw them in Atlanta at the Masquerade.
Nice.
And they've since moved the Masquerade. It still kind of looks the same at the new place. It's a much nicer venue now, but it was this old 3-story, looked like a big old haunted house, but really big.
Kind of like the old CBGBs.
Yeah. But that's a show that I often think back, and this is one that I accidentally left off, and I had Slayer in its place for the I saw Slayer in July of '91 on the Clash of the Titans tour with Megadeth, and
That had to be something.
and then Alice in Chains opened up right after they had dropped their album. So I got to early Alice in Chains, and I had never seen Alice in Chains or heard of them, and that was a great show too.
Wow.
Really good. But they were at a place because they were just quite a bit slower than the other three.
Oh, sure.
But
Absolutely.
Bolt Thrower, I know one of the guitarists has passed away. I think it's the guitarist has passed away. But great show. Great memories of that show. Just, you know, after you see a show like that and you're driving home, and I had about an hour and a half drive down to Columbus, Georgia area, and I just remember just being buzzed the whole time. Just so excited about that show. Great show.
Nice.
No, Kyler, do not get me one of those albums. Do not show up under my upside down tree. Fuck you.
All right.
Good fun.
My next one might even been a little higher up if I hadn't gotten there late and missed the first band.
Mm.
And this was this past year when Ghost, Volbeat, and Twin Temple all toured together. And I missed Twin Temple, and I showed up halfway through Volbeat.
That sucks.
I know.
That happened.
I remember you telling me that. I was like, damn it.
That time I missed Mastodon. When the first
Holy
time
shit.
the first time I saw Slipknot, I missed Mastodon. So similar. I know that feeling.
It was still a fucking amazing show. I love Volbeat.
Sure.
It's great to see them live. And Ghost was incredible, as always. As the second time I've seen Ghost. Either way, I got pretty close to the front. I was taking photos all night. It was epic.
Oh, nice.
Nice. So, man, there's just so many. But I'm going to go with this one because this was a chance that I got to take my son to see because he was always so jealous that I had seen the original 4 members of Danzig back in the heyday and then saw him again in previous years on the I Luciferi tour. But he had come this time because he was preparing to do a series of shows, which was where he would perform the entire Danzig 3 album. Okay. So this was almost like warm-up shows for that because from what he said on stage that he was going to be doing this on such and such date the next month. And I'm like, fuck, why didn't you just do it now? Give me all the How the Gods Kill I can handle. Man. Well, anyways, I was super psyched for that. And even more so super psyched because I got to see Corrosion of Conformity open for him with Reed Mullin. This was back in 2018, actually. So not only was, I was able to take the Death Slinger with me to finally see one of his biggest heroes. And Glenn did not disappoint that night. Not even a little bit. His voice sounded better than I had heard. And I don't know how long. I don't know if it's because he's older now, so he moves less, but you got more of his voice. Mm-hmm. And that has a lot to do with it. I mean, the guy still can run around and, he's not like, pushing on a wheelchair or anything. But he could still bring it. He brought the pain and you felt it. And anytime he sang a verse that involved his heart, he would smack the microphone in his chest and you could hear it all the way through. And It was just awesome. He sang a bunch of those. How he did 4 How the Gods Kill songs in a row. Didn't miss a beat. Lots of shit. He did shit. Snakes of Christ. I was like, oh, because I'd seen him before and he never touched those records. So it was really kind of good to hear a lot of those original classics.
Hey Kyler, you mean this one?
Put your saddlebags away. Nobody wants to see it. But he was actually in good shape too. Gut wasn't there. There was no overhang on top of the big Danzig belt buckle. But he also wasn't wearing mesh either. So we didn't have the misfortune of seeing that. Although he did say at one point after 4 songs in, it's so hot up here, my nuts are on fire. Thanks for telling us, Glenn.
What type
Remind
of
us not to say, how's your balls?
what type of shirt did he wear? Like a button-up black shirt?
No, it was just like a cutoff shirt like this and had no graphic on the front.
Okay.
It was very simple. He was in his, trademark black dungarees and his 6-inch heel boots to make himself look a little taller on stage.
Yeah.
But the night was amazing. I didn't have to hear all of the horrible singing that the crowd usually likes to do when those classics are being done. It's like, I told my son, I said, I might get in a fight tonight because he starts playing the songs that we love and I can't hear him over them. We're going to be beating up some fucking hill jacks. That's what's going to happen. I'm like, don't fuck it up for me.
Yeah.
So
Like
definitely a killer shit.
when I saw them, it was I think '93 on the Dehumanizer tour when they opened up for Black Sabbath. And
I'm so jealous of that. You have no idea.
at that point, all 3 of the guys in the front were all roided out. Their deltoids.
Oh, fuck.
And for me, the longer that Danzig let his hair go, just the more metal and tough he looked.
He was pretty big at that point in time, and his hair was long as fuck.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Not no more. Right now, he's just fighting to keep his hair. Shit.
Yeah.
He's got the big old, almost like instead of comb over, it's a comb back.
Yeah.
To hide that bald spot in the back of his head. We know it's there, Glenn. You ain't fooling nobody.
Yeah.
As soon as those lights hit you just right, we see it. Arb's still big as fuck, though. He must have done some curls before the show or something. I don't get it.
Wow.
63, 64 years old.
Yeah.
He was old when I seen him.
Wow.
He didn't look that bad.
Wow.
Not like Sir Chunk-a-Lot of 5 years ago. I kid. Yeah, that's about right. He's about 5'5", but wide as shit.
Damn it, he's taller than me.
Well, especially when he puts on them fucking boots.
Oh, that's true.
He's definitely taller than what he usually is because he must have figured it out a long time ago that when you're on center stage, people are going to notice, but you got to look larger than life. So
For sure.
Yeah.
he ain't fooling nobody. Especially when you got Erie Vaughn and John motherfucking Christ on either side of you, and they're like, whoop, like fucking trees, Fuck.
All right. Well, my number 3, I saw just a few years ago in 2015. I think it was June of 2015 when I.
He was on Hunger Teen, Hunger Force, whatever the fuck that was. Oh, that's so funny. So sorry. I digress.
Oh shit.
We got to snort.
So anyway, I lived in Saudi Arabia, and I had wanted to see Ozzy Osbourne so
Oh yeah.
fucking bad. And so I bought a plane ticket to fly from Saudi Arabia to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. I got a hotel just for one night. I was down waiting to go see Black Sabbath. And here's this.
But you had to.
It was a doctor from India, and he was in Abu Dhabi, and he had a Russian hooker on his arm. And they did not look
She
like
was applying for citizenship.
a couple fit for each other at all. And she was working hard for her money, I'll say.
Wow.
So I asked him,
waiting through all the grease.
I said, so you guys going to go see Sabbath? And they were like, yeah. I said, well, do you guys want to share a cab? They're like, yeah. So they just sat in the back and were doing whatever. And I just checked out the scene. And anyways, whenever, you know how old Ozzy is, and I was thinking he was just going to stand there. And I'd seen a bunch of live performances, even from 2000, where he just kind of walks around and, keeps his hands out. And
Right.
Until suddenly he starts running in place while holding on to the microphone stand.
Yeah, he had energy. He was a master at working the crowd, even in Abu Dhabi. And Abu Dhabi is loaded with foreigners. Like the
Right.
population is very, very small of Emiratis. So there weren't a whole lot of them. It was mostly us foreigners. Great show. Tony Iommi was amazing the whole time. And I got right in front of Geezer Butler because I love watching the bassists.
Mm.
Absolutely. It's like watching the Dalai Lama play fucking bass,
Definitely one of my bass heroes. I always love his fills and the way he doesn't necessarily always play with the band.
That's right.
The drummer sometimes, or puts in his own little fills in there. Love it. So I get pissed off whenever somebody will do like the 10 best bassists of all time or most influential bassists of all time, and they'll leave Geezer off, and they'll put the fucking bassist from The Who on there. And they did have a song or two that was good, but he wasn't as active or dynamic as Geezer Butler.
Nah, and he was fucking stoic. The dude never moved.
Yes, you're right.
It was just like,
Yep, and he held it up really high too. Yep.
it's like almost like a fucking charcuterie board across his chest. Just. By the way, Doomsday Rejects, thank you for tuning in tonight. I love you, my brothers. Congratulations on those stellar fucking Spotify numbers. So proud of you guys. Much love.
Absolutely.
Great guys. But that's a show. If they would do one more tour, I would definitely be there. I'd love to see them again. I would love it. And when Ozzy comes back around, I'm going to go check him out.
Absolutely.
Yes, and a happy 74th birthday to you, Mr. Osbourne.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
That's my number 3.
All right. Now, some of y'all could be like, Genghis, what the fuck is wrong with you putting
Oh, no.
not only when you saw and met your favorite band as number 2 on your list, not the top spot. But I got to do it because they weren't actually the best stage performance I've ever seen. So I got to put it at number 2.
Okay, well, if it's the Backstreet Boys, I can't help you.
No, it's Moonspell, you knucklehead. I fucking met Moonspell and saw them.
I
This
know.
was
I was just joking with you.
October of 2018. Probably the best day of my life. I met Moonspell, I met Bill Moseley, and I met Mischief. But anyway, that's beside the point. It was one of those shows where like the crowd is just totally there for each other, like this one guy, I remember he fell because his boots were untied, and like this group of guys like just stood around and locked their arms so he could tie his boot, and I'm like, whoa, you don't see that at other kinds of shows. You only see that shit at metal shows.
Mhm.
And then I don't know who the fuck he was, but it ended up being like no one was there for Moonspell. They're not a huge name really. But me and some sweaty guy were like hugging each other, right next to each other, sing along with all the lyrics. So it was cool. Great fucking
and
show though.
that's all that counts.
Exactly.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Bands don't tour for themselves.
No, they
It's
don't.
for the fans. And
Absolutely.
if they're able to move 1, 2, 5 people, it's good enough.
Best part though is when I met them.
Excuse me.
Because the way it worked, there's like 8 bands playing or 5 bands. I didn't care about any of them except, my favorite band. So you could stand wherever you want in the group of people, but everyone was just going towards, the middle of the whole band lineup. I made a beeline right for the singer of Moonspell. And he just looks at me, puts his arms out, and he goes like in a metal growl, he's like, "Come to me, my child." And I'm like, "Oh my god." So little fanboy Genghis freaked the hell out, and it was amazing.
There's nothing wrong with geeking out because my number 2, it is my number 2. I was no different, although I could not get as close as I wanted to. This was also bucket list. And oddly enough, my first professional band that I ever played for, the lead singer just happened to be in the merch area. Hadn't seen him in 20 something years. And I was like, holy shit. And he used to have great long hair like Hoofbeast does. Bald as me. Fatter than me. I was like, I was like, this can't be real. All right. Anyways, so that was pretty cool. Again, Logan was with me. So he finally got to see the King, and I waited 32 years to see this man. King fucking Diamond.
Oh.
But even better, I got to see the amazing Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats open up for him.
Nice.
They are stoner rock doom masters that just are amazing to watch. The energy is great. It's like watching a psychedelic show from the 60s. That's what this was like. It almost kind of like reminded me of when Black Sabbath played at a place called the Beat Club in London, and it was like real trippy, like trippy lights, and had like ominous faces in the background just coming out at you, once in a while. It's like, whoop, peekaboo. I'm just sitting there going, shit, I don't even have to be fucked up, and this is fucking me up. I love it. And not to mention, their shit is just really cool, very bluesy. You could definitely tell he was playing through orange amps because that fucking fuzz sound was second to none. And the guy's voice is sickening. Although I will always say it like I did that night, I could play those drums better than him. Not a big fan of their drummer. He doesn't add anything extra, just lays it down. That's it. Very simple. Not a lot of, rhythm inflections or anything like that. But I still dig them. I still love them. And that was my first time of actually hearing them. So that was really cool. And I've been a fan ever since. And then King D just did not disappoint. He was rolled out on a big fucking hospital patient bed. He's got the fucking, straight jacket on. He appears to be dead. These orderlies are bringing him out, sets him up. And all of a sudden, he just slowly starts to get up like a corpse, which is always awesome. And when he went to pick up the bone microphone, that was the moment. It's like this big light just went as he picked it up. And I was just like, fucking Satan. Yeah. It was fantastic. I was like, that was the moment. Man, and he started out with a classic from Fatal Portrait. Then he rolled into the Abigail era. And let me tell you, he's got performance artists that act out scenes from these stories while he's singing. and he even interacts with them. So with Abigail, there was some lady up there holding a baby, and then there was a baby carriage, and an actual, I don't know if he hired a little person for that, but the baby got out of the carriage and was trying to chase after him, and I'm just like, holy shit! It's like watching a horror movie.
That's great.
Yeah, because I mean, the entire set was scenes from all his different albums. He even did some from Voodoo, the album Voodoo. And of course, when them happened, woo, whoever played Grandma in that motherfucking wheelchair was sick. Oh my God. I was just like, oh, the whole fucking place lost their fucking minds. It was so good. Wait a minute. Shit, I was wet from both ends. Let me tell you. I about shit myself. I'm like, he's playing all my songs. And then he did a tribute to the late, great Timmy Hansen, who had just passed away, I think about maybe 3 years before he did this tour, who was the original bassist of Merciful Fate. So that was awesome. And he says, as long as he's alive, he will always play the Black Horseman, because that was Timmy's favorite fucking song. Mm-hmm. And the whole crowd, I mean, there weren't cigarette lighters like the old days when you could do that, because nowadays people will actually set people on fire. So everyone took their cell phones out, put the lights on, and you could just see them in the air. It was so nice. And it was a real heartfelt kind of thing, because it was the first time he had ever gone on stage without him, for this tour. So it meant a lot. It was a fucking killer fucking show. He never sounded better. And like I said, all the actors and stuff that go into his show to bring those songs to life, it was a hell of a production. Currently on tour with Merciful Fate right now, which is yet again a sick fucking show.
Yeah, they just came.
That is breathtaking.
2 weeks ago, they came through here, but couldn't make it.
Well, first of all, don't tell us 2 months before you're about to do it.
Yeah.
Give us some time. We're hardworking people, man. We got to come up with the funds first. Yeah. We got to make sure we got babysitters and shit.
For sure.
It's like, oh, man, that was one of my chances to see one of my favorite original bands. And it's like, I still got to see The King right before COVID ruined.
For sure.
Well, I'm envious of that show. I wish I could have seen that.
His backup band is stellar. And that new bassist he got, I mean, first of all, Andy LaRock, holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That man plays, you go, holy fucking shit, every fucking time. He's like the fucking Mozart of guitar playing. Everything from the riff to the solo, and he's old too, and they're just all getting the fuck down. I was like, this is how it's done. These are masters. Not that Metallica bullshit. Sorry, had to throw that in there. Did you know that I just read that a ticket package to go see Metallica when they come around again is up to $7,000.
I assume that's some sort of crazy VIP package.
It is.
Still, why the fuck would anyone pay that much?
That's what I'm saying. To see them? I'm sorry. No, never.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I caught them on the Black Tour. That was enough for me.
Yep.
I would have much rather seen them with Cliff fucking Burton.
Yeah, me too.
If I could get some
Nothing
cheap
against the bass player. I like their bass.
Get some cheap tickets, like nosebleed tickets or something, I might consider going just to say I've seen them. But you couldn't pay me enough to spend a lot to go see them.
Honestly, you're probably going to pay $200 for those nosebleeds. You'll be watching them through the fucking big screens. They got a big screen on either side of them. Who wants to do that for $200? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
There we go,
a fucking head job for $200.
There we go. Yeah, I'll pay $7,000 in Monopoly money. There we go.
Shit. Hand job and a fucking kiss goodnight. That's what I need for $7,000. Goddamn, $200. What the hell?
Yeah.
Not me.
All right. Well, my number 2, the opening acts for the night were Soilwork.
Oh,
This was in December of 2007, December 17th of 2007. I didn't see that.
I feel validated.
Where's my
I don't
wife?
think I won't click.
I need to get my wife around here.
Come on, get out of here now.
Oh, here, hang on. She's requesting steak.
I got some tube steak. All right. It's down to the fucking Texas Roadhouse we go. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. All right.
Jesus Christ,
Oh,
Kyler.
shit.
Kyler, you suck.
Oh, shit.
Okay, now let's have a little spelling lesson here, Kyler. That's not how you say mistake. Whole different word.
You're in the wrong show then. Oh, the comments are just awesome tonight. Love the motherfuckers, man. Absolutely.
Okay, so my show was December 17th, 2007. Soilwork, Devil Driver, Kill Switch Engage
Ooh.
opened up for this band who had been touring like fucking crazy over and over and over, and they were nearly finished with the tour. I think they had 3 more shows after this one, and then they were done. And then they went and wrote, in my opinion, a terrible downer of an album called Wrath. I'm talking about Lamb of God on the Sacrament tour. Lamb of God. Now, I saw them on
Sacrament's great though.
I loved the Sacrament tour so much. So I was like, when they came around I didn't like the Wrath album, but when they came around for the show, I was like, hell yeah, last time was outstanding. This time, I think there was something going on in the band. I don't know if there was some usage or they weren't getting along, but they were not the same band.
Well, Randy Blythe was known for being a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
So they could have been totally pissed off at him at something he had done probably earlier in the day or even the night before. I've seen some like backstage, like, you know, past type stuff where I think it was maybe a video that a home video that they had where they were like fighting and he was always trying to get one of the guys in the band to fight him. And I was just fucking just outrageous. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially since I understand he actually punched one of the guitarists in the eye at one point.
Yeah, it was John. I think John is his name. Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. So anyways, love that album. That album, if we ever do something like top 10 best metal albums of all time, that one, I love Sacrament.
Oh, by far, I have to agree. I think that is definitely one of the highest, best they've ever done.
And a lot of people shit on that album, but anyways, so Soilwork was good. Devil Driver was good. Kill Switch Engage was good. But when Lamb of God came out, the lighting that they used for most of the show was green and blue, and it worked. Randy Blythe sounded great. Drumming was great. I mean, the head banging was great. You know, their show on stage, like they put it all out for that show, and you could feel it. It was so sincere, so honest, 100% American metal. It was outstanding. That show was amazing. And I was so disappointed when I went and saw them for the next tour for Wrath. Just really flat. It wasn't the same feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. So now we have to do, maybe one night we need to do a show. It's maybe the 10 albums or the 5 albums that are not as bad as Saint Anger, but almost as bad as Saint Anger.
Now that would be fun as fuck.
Morbid Angel has one.
There's a good couple of bands, shit,
Oh, yeah.
that have had some pretty shit-tastic albums.
Yeah.
Evanescence. I have too.
All right. Before we get into our top spot, perhaps we should run a commercial.
Yeah. Let's, tis the season to get some Dark Three Witches Entertainment merch.
It is. Did you say our commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Three Witches Entertainment. Hello! Is this thing on?
You shut up, Tyler.
But yes, all of you have been showing your love so much for us, for Three Witches Entertainment. Thank you. Thank you. You make it all possible and worthwhile to do every night, every week. And show us your love, man. Get one of them shirts for any of your favorite shows. We got some more stuff coming. There's going to be a Reaper's Underground shirt as well. So be looking out for that. And, even if you just want to get a Three Witches shirt, I mean, that new winter logo is the shit.
It is. Absolutely.
Thank you, John. Thursday was so much fun with Art the Clown. That was just unforgettable, which so many people have been wondering. Yes, you can go back and watch it as many times as you want. You can catch any of our shows anytime you want. Everything is bagged and tagged and ready for your consumption. So
absolutely.
Killer.
Now
we have made it to the number one.
We have. So the show I'm putting at my number one.
Backstreet Boys.
I've never seen the Backstreet Boys. I would, but I haven't. Anyway.
Jonas Brothers.
That one I'll pass on.
Hanson.
That wasn't you? Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
Full of them tonight. God damn. All right.
So 4 bands played. There was some extreme punk band, which I'd never go out of my way to listen to, but they were okay. There was this weird band that did just a remix of well-known classic metal songs, and they were okay. But
that's weird.
So the first 2 bands, but then I got to see a set by Devin Townsend. And that was pretty epic. Unfortunately, I don't know why they had to do acoustic on this tour. I mean, it was good, but it didn't really fit very well, especially since the last band, who was the cream of the crop, the best stage performance I've ever seen, and still one of my favorite bands, Avatar. They are just so engaging with the crowd, and every one of them is doing something exciting. One of them is doing something exciting all the time, and Johannes just all over the stage, and it was just an incredible fucking show. They definitely have the best stage show I've ever seen, especially on this tour, because this was the Avatar Country tour. So the whole beginning where they had Henrik being crowned as the king and all this shit, it was just great.
So had you heard any of their albums at all before this?
Oh yeah, I've been a fan of theirs for a long time. I've been a fan of theirs since high school. This show was in 2019. It was the
Okay,
last,
so this is definitely one of those bands that can recreate it on the stage.
even better.
Oh, see, that's always cool too. Sometimes sound quality of a record could suck, but you see the band live and suddenly it's like, who are these guys? This is not what I remember.
Or vice versa. Sometimes, the album is great and then live it's just like, ugh.
That's very true also. I agree. My number one is also a chalked up bill and forever will always remain my favorite show of all time. It was 2002. Ozfest had rolled into town. And I was able to catch not only all 4 original members of Black Sabbath as the main act, but leading up to that amazing part of the show, I got to see 2 legends. I guess you could say 3. 3 legends that one of them you finally can see now, but it's not like it was back then. I'm talking about fucking all original members of Pantera. All the original members of Typo Negative. All on the same fucking day. And before them was fucking Soulfly.
Nice.
That's a great show.
And Fear Factory with Burton C. Bell. I just remembered. So, yeah, all of these motherfuckers shared one main fucking stage. Never went to the other. Didn't care to. I mean, there was a couple of good ones. Prong was over there. And I think Slipknot, the original Slipknot, wasn't main stage material yet. Wasn't until like Iowa that they became main stage worthy. So they were on the side stage there, and I believe Cold Chamber was also there at the time. But I didn't catch them. I didn't get to catch them. And that's fine, because what I saw, Peter Steele in all of his fucking glory, here am I, here's like his torso, like mid. I mean, the man's so fucking tall. He's like 6'9", and he's on a 4 or 5 foot stage. And I'm down there at the bottom just looking at him like,
that just gave me an idea, Reaper. For a show we should do, the top bands that we wish we'd gotten to see.
oh, sure. Absolutely. Because in some cases, you can't even do it because either nobody's around or most of them are dead.
Exactly. I think that'd be a good one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be cool.
Yeah,
I mean, there he was, that fucking like super dark green tank, black jeans, hair flowing in the wind like the fucking gothic Fabio, and hoisting what looked like a medieval bottle of fucking wine. I was like, is it red? That's my favorite. I shouted it at him in between songs. And then, of course, he went into this diatribe about, I drink wine so I don't have to burp on the mic from drinking beer. He let out this huge fucking, all the girls are like, oh, he burped. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Oh, man. And then I can remember Pantera literally went on right after them. So it was like a back-to-back. And came out, it was a the Cowboys from Hell, whatchamajoohickey thing, little sound, like on delay. It just looped it for like 5-10 minutes. And I swear these people must have been family to them, because they were up front in the pit, front of the stage, and they were in like 65, I would say. They were all gray-haired, country, fucking 10-gallon hats, the fucking belt buckles. I mean, the cowboy boots, the whole 9 yards. They're just standing off to the side going, yeah. I mean, and they were moving. I'm just like, holy shit, Grandpa's joined us. What's going on? This was great. And they're just like, yeah. Along as soon as he said Cowboys from Hell, he was chanting it along. And then Walk happened. They knew every fucking word. And then the one old guy who's so cute ends up knocking the 10-gallon hat off his buddy next to him, and then starts laughing, puts it back on, puts their arm around each other, go, Walk. I'm just like, this, what have I stepped into? And then, with fucking that was bucket list for me. All 4 members of Sabbath, original, including Bill Ward on the drums, man. He was the reason I started my whole career. And they did not disappoint. I literally felt like I walked into 1972. It was that fucking good. They played a bunch of songs that probably should have got airplay, but never did. And I was like, I know them all. I bet everybody else around me does not. Just an unforgettable fucking show.
Oh yeah. Pantera. That might have been in my top 5, except for that's the show. I saw them on the Vulgar Display of Power tour. That
must have been sick.
Before I had a migraine. And so I still enjoy it. I still remember the show, but damn, I remember that fucking migraine over everything else.
Oh man.
But to watch oh my God, how did I forget his name? The guitarist.
Oh, Dimebag.
I kept wanting to say Diamond. To watch
It's because I fucked you up with my King Diamond song.
Yeah.
Story. Hello. I know what I'm saying.
To watch Dimebag the whole time, 100% metal every moment of the show.
Every moment.
I mean, all of them, just totally sincere. I don't know how they went through a hair metal phase.
Yeah, 3 albums worth.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, they had 3 fucking studio albums that were all hair metal. I realized the hair metal was dead, and they became themselves finally.
Yeah. Boy, I'm very envious of seeing that show. I would have loved every band on that show. That would have been great.
You never get to see something like that again unless somebody caught it on YouTube. And even then, it just doesn't do it justice because you're not standing there. I mean, I just felt like I was in the presence of greatness. What the hell? Well, I don't know. It's the fucking marijuana or he's a vampire. One of the two, and he's still kicking. It's like Cher and who else? I can't remember. I'm so suspicious that some of these people that are celebrities still look like they did 20 fucking years ago. Never seem to age. Something's wrong.
FYI, everybody, there's another death hoax going around. He's still kicking. Okay.
Who?
Willie Nelson. Just yesterday, I was seeing people saying he died, and it's like, no, he didn't. Yeah. It's another hoax. That man's never going to die. Just like Keith Richards is never going to die. Okay?
That was the other one. That son of a bitch. Holy crap. Still fucking playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not playing with the Stones anymore. He's doing his own solo thing. What the hell? He's like 80 something. You know? He's older than most of them. Shit. Oh, yeah. Dolly Parton. That's another one. 70 some years old and don't look a bit of it. I don't get it.
Dolly Parton should have made an appearance on the Waltons back in like 1978 or 79. I would have liked to have seen John Boy react to seeing her,
It
or the
would have been like, I'm done working for the day.
yeah.
But Dimebag was one of, in my opinion, the last of the breed of guitar players that don't need a second one.
Yeah.
Because he had Rex fucking Brown laying the bass down so hard, so thick, so tasty that all he had to do was solo over top of it and nobody cared. And the fact of how Dimebag can come in and out of a solo back to the riff, it's just mind-boggling to see that in person. I can't describe it. It's like watching Tony Iommi play. He's another one. Never has to have a second guitar player. Never.
And they're both yeah. Both of those bands are very groove laden. They're really groove, so you can fit into that groove when your tone is so thick and rich, and when you're tied to the drummer. I mean, Bill Ward, who wouldn't want to play with him? Vinny, who wouldn't want to play with him?
Oh man, his shit sounded like machine guns going off.
Yes,
It was so tight, so tight. The fucking double kick, you heard and felt every note. A lot of concerts you can't say that unless somebody's got like massive triggers on their shit. Vinny didn't have much of anything like that on his fucking kicks, and you felt them and heard them, which is like hard to fucking do in a big mix like that.
Must have been the way that he mic'd it or something, because I could always, his kicks in particular, and they were super important. The way that he played with his kicks, they were super integral to every song.
Well, the length of his bass drums. Excuse me, goodness, I've been sneezing all fucking day. The length of his bass drums were massive. So, yeah, he had, that standard 22 kick, but the depth of those motherfuckers are like cannons. So, definitely it's in the microphones. And then the fact that the guy plays a marching snare. That is why Vinny's snare drum sound is what it is and what it was.
Yeah.
That's the secret. Tight as fuck, major crack. Every whore's delight. Anyway. So that'll forever be my top one.
All right.
Great one. We're envious of that. So my best show that I've ever seen, I get 4 out of my 5 are extreme metal bands. I tend to be in that a little bit more than groove metal, stoner metal, things like that. So this show was it kind of, in extreme metal, it would rival that Pantera show.
I believe it.
So this, I've already mentioned this on a previous show before, but I'd never seen them before, had never even heard the band's name before. But when
shit.
I left, unholy shit, were they ever great. The bands, so they were the first band up, and they're out of England, and they were on Earache Records. And
great label.
Pestilence opened up for them, and Martin Van Drunen played bass for that. That show was outstanding too. Totally extreme. This is 1990, October 1990. So a lot of this stuff was really new. And then the headliner was Death, and Death's, I think, second to last show. Once they finished that tour, Terry Butler, the bassist, and Bill Andrews, the drummer, were no longer involved. Chuck went over and did a tour overseas, came back from Europe, and then recorded the Human album with Sean Reinert and Paul Masvidal and Steve DiGiorgio.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite bass players. What a cool dude, too. But so Chuck Schuldiner for that show he did not work the crowd at all. That was one of my worst shows I'd ever seen. They sounded great. It was kind of like a Megadeth show. Sounded great, but just the performance on stage was really weak. And Chuck, you could tell they were not getting along at all. Chuck smiled, never talked to the crowd, just played Leprosy, Scream Bloody Gore, Zombie Ritual, and a few more songs off of Spiritual Healing album, and they were done. But the band that opened up, I saw them when I was outside coming in. They had no merch. I think they had sold it all out. And
Damn.
You can find this band if you search Carcass 1990 live show. If you search that, there's a show in California. And so the reason why Carcass was my favorite was I had never heard different tones for vocals. Jeff Walker's kind of black metal, kind of higher range vocals were great, but to me, only great when Bill Steer handled vocals as well. And for the first two albums, Reek of Putrefaction and Symphonies in Sickness, Bill Steer handled a lot more of the vocal duties, and his vocals were so low and so nasty and so prominent. I had heard nothing like that. And Bill Steer's hair was all in his guitar. It went down probably, I don't know how long his dick is, but it probably went end of his dick when he was like out running in the summer, like, hot and sweaty and, a little more droopy. He was outstanding. And Amat from Arch Enemy had just joined him, and his hair was really long, probably down to his belly button, and his hair was in, and they did the circular head banging with a whirlwind. Oh, they were outstanding. After this show, I went out and bought an Ibanez guitar because he wasn't signed by Gibson at the time, and he was playing Ibanez, and just the crunchy sound. It sounded better than those two albums because those albums were recorded in like a day or two. And so they just rushed through them. They weren't recorded real well. But that show, I could never forget that show. I was just, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe the crunch of the guitars and both of those vocals at the same time, and then sometimes one and then the other. And the way they wrote the songs, just amazing. And the visuals they played with their hair in their face the whole time. You couldn't see their face.
Yeah, that's pretty classic.
Kind of dark and like satanic to me. It was so on the edge. I just loved it. But I'd love to go see them again, but I really didn't like any. The next album that was an EP was good. And I liked all the others, but I didn't like them the same because they didn't feature Bill Steer's vocals. And if they ever did, his vocals, when they reappeared again, they were so kind of subtle in the mix that he didn't. His vocals are super deep. He sounds like a giant monster that's just with an extremely deep voice. Just stunning show. And Jeff Walker was out, looked like this hippie dude, dreadlocks down to his ass. And he was so nice. He spoke to everybody before they came. I didn't even know who he was. But I damn well knew after that.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man. That's what really makes a memorable performance. It's like bands that really lay it all out there on the stage, almost like giving them a piece of themselves to you. So, and that's what makes all these shows that much, better.
So sincere, the sincerity. Every one of the bands we've all have listed are absolutely sincere in what they do. And like, when I saw Lamb of God, the second show didn't seem the same. It was not as sincere. But the first when I saw Lamb of God, amazing. All right, to our honorable mentions.
All right, I'll just blast through these real quick. The second time I saw Ghost, the second time I saw Avatar. When I saw In This Moment, that was a good show. And my other one is this would have made top 5 if A, Ministry had actually put on a better performance, and B, if there'd been less strobe lights, 'cause I had a fucking migraine the whole time. But I saw Ministry, The Melvins, and Corrosion of Conformity in March of this year, and I met Pepper, and it was friggin' epic.
That is.
Ministry didn't quite live up to par. I only know this because I was in the front row, but he was reading off a teleprompter the whole time and still didn't know half the words to songs he'd been playing for 40 years. So,
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially since old Uncle Al there really enjoyed his vices a little too much for too long.
It's like, come on, Uncle Al. You don't even know the words of So What? And you've been doing that song for how long? And how many words does it have? Anyway. But no, I had a friggin' headache, like, from all the damn strobes, and it was ridiculous. But otherwise, it would have been in my top.
Hell yeah. I guess honorable mention for me would be, I know Danzig was one of mine before, but I was able to see Korn and Marilyn Manson before anybody knew who the fuck they were.
You lucky bastard.
So yeah, this one's not for Danzig. This is for those two bands right there. And the fact that they were all on the same bill made it that much better. Let's see. Family Values Tour, Mos Def, because you had just a vast array of different genres all on the same bill. And, you know, whether you were a fan of it or not, you got to see it live. And if you liked it live, chances were, you know, you became a fan. You know, the only person I didn't care for was Limp Bizkit. But the rest of them, fantastic, including Ice Cube. Ice Cube was fucking awesome. Let's see. The other one I was going to mention, Whitesnake, Rudy Sarzo, Vivian Campbell, and fucking Steve Vai, all on the Slip of the Tongue tour. It was the 80s, and it was mag-fucking-nificent. David Coverdale never sounded better, and one of my all-time 80s metal drummer heroes of mine, Tommy fucking Aldridge, who actually played with the Blizzard of Oz for Ozzy when he started his solo career. The son of a bitch was just amazeballs to watch. His drum solo was even better.
His hair. You got to talk about his hair.
His hair is like one of the craziest fucking afros that I have ever seen.
Who?
It literally, this is Tommy Aldridge, the drummer of Whitesnake. He still is to this day, and still has the same hair.
Mm-hmm. Not as big, but
not as big. But then it was like massive curly. It literally looked like a helmet. Like somebody would actually take this hair and fucking paste it to his dome. But man, he was playing. It was shaking to the side. Oh my goodness, it was so cool.
I used to think King Bozo from the Melvins had the best hair until I found out it's a fucking wig.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I know.
Jeez. Now, a lot of people who were big fans of Mushroom Head would know which band I'm talking about. Some of the members of the original Mushroom Head, not what it is today, there was a side project in Cleveland called 216. 216 was better, stronger, heavier, and just straight up, almost like deathcore before it was actually a thing. And this is like 1998. This is when I had seen this show because I happened to be a bouncer at the show. So that was pretty fucking awesome to see because I've seen the Mushroom Head shows, just being, a concert goer in Cleveland. So getting to see that band, it's more stripped down. There's no makeup, there's no masks, no costumes. It's fucking ripped jeans and just 10,000 pounds of fucking kill your ass. That's what 216 was. So if you were around at that time and knew of them, that would have been one hell of a show to catch. I'm trying to think if there was any others. No, I would say those would be my top.
Good.
Honorable mentions.
All right. Mine are Slayer. Saw them in 1991. Clash of the Titans tour already mentioned.
Hell yeah.
Bad Brains. Brains was amazing. So Bad Brains, I don't know who I would have pulled out of my top 5, but what's his name? HR. He was so wasted. So he played like 3 or 4. And then he came out handcuffed to this like 20-year-old girl, sang 2 or 3 songs with her, and they shut the show down. I have no idea why. And so we only got 5 or 6 songs. Some of their songs are pretty short, but it was so intense. Everybody was bouncing all over the place. Bad Brains back in the 80s and early 90s were fucking amazing. So Bad Brains was one. Psyopus, they opened up for Cattle Decapitation. Cattle Decapitation is one. I saw them in January 2010, and Psyopus opened for them. Psyopus is it's kind of like mathcore, but super technical, all over the dissonant, weird blast beats, slow, just odd stuff. I love them. That show, I was just Cattle Decapitation came on after them. That was a great show too. Dying Fetus, I saw them in 2010, and what was that? 6 Feet Under opened up for them, so I did get to see Oleg.
Killer.
Slipknot in July 2008, just an amazing stage setup, amazing show. The only thing is he just doesn't put the mic close enough to his mask, and you miss a whole lot of words. That's the reason why I higher, but great show. The percussion elements throughout that show are all over the place and are outstanding. If you ever get to see Slipknot, I recommend it if you haven't. Catatonia opened up for Opeth. And Opeth wasn't doing death metal vocals when I saw them in, I think it was 2010. So Opeth was a little bit meh, but Catatonia blew them away. Excellent, doomy kind of metal gaze band. Excellent. Napalm Death, March 1991. I'm in 2 videos that ended up Suffer the Children and Mass Appeal Madness, I think was the other one. And they ended up on Headbangers Ball, and I was in the crowd.
Nice.
That's killer.
Malevolent Creation in 1991. And,
wow.
They were outstanding, super intense, super sincere when I saw them. Suicidal Tendencies I saw in, I think, December of 1989. Outstanding show. And then I saw Mastodon on the Crack the Sky tour. Amazing. So many. It was so hard to make this list. So many of those shows were so great. For me,
for sure.
For me, and probably like you guys, it came down to, did they amaze me? Did they get the crowd into it? Or were they just so out of this world? I'd never seen something before like this that I couldn't forget about it for days. Just thought about it all the time.
Yeah, that was really the criteria, not just because they were heroes or, anything like that, just because it's like, it's one thing to hear the tracks. It's another to have it delivered to you in person.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you all again for just having a fucking killer time with us tonight. Comment section was sick as hell.
Absolutely.
Did not disappoint. And definitely tune in next Saturday. as we'll have another edition with probably another top 5 something. But we will figure that out for you beforehand and unleash it. So stay tuned to our Instagrams and Facebooks. And most importantly, when you're thinking about putting on some Christmas music, stay heavy.
Rotten in this wasteland, left with some bleached bones. Kiss the death in the palm of my